At the start of our missionary career in West Africa, my wife and I moved into a dusty, tin-roofed shack in a small village, bringing only some basic supplies and 2 bicycles with us. We had visited the village with a more experienced colleague a few times before this to get to know the people. Now we would live with the villagers as we began learning their language and culture. Rather than house us in a grass-roofed hut, one of the church leaders sacrificially emptied his little square home for us. This house was like no dwelling we had ever seen. I could reach up and touch the tin roof without stretching. The mice had burrowed through the floor and would pop up at night to eat anything not hanging from the ceiling. One night, I heard a cataclysmic struggle in one corner. When I got up to investigate, I discovered a colossal spider wrestling a majestic roach. Rebecca and I cheered for the spider. Outside, the drooping branches of a mango tree brushed up against the screenless window, providing convenient access into our home for green mamba snakes. Without a ceiling, our rafters were home to a host of bats, roosting between the wood and the tin. Like some kind of bat cave, our little home had so many bat droppings on the floor that we could have supplied enough guano for the gunpowder used in the American Civil War. In spite of our initial squeamish reaction, that house holds a special place in our hearts. The generous church leader who had allowed us to temporarily move into his home tried to help us adjust to the openness of our dwelling by explaining, it's not only people who live in a house. His sacrificial loan enabled us to make our home among the people with whom we would work to translate the Bible into the Yolonka language. When we first arrived in West Africa, we pulled our water out of a hand-dug well with a bucket. We cooked outside on a kerosene burner. I remember taking bucket showers out under the stars in a grass enclosure, thinking, this is probably not what the Centers for Disease Control means when they caution Americans to avoid night-biting mosquitoes. As I showered, I could look up to a night sky so stunningly bright that at first I mistook the Milky Way galaxy for a huge, wispy cloud stretching the width of the sky. One night, about 3 months into our stay, I had an epiphany that I was gazing into a vast fog of distant stars. A long, awestruck "oh" flowed unbidden from my chest as I gaped at the same stars that had been God's visual aid for Abraham. I love Africa.